are 1-6.
Perfect. So just a little update on how the playoff situation works here. The top 6 teams are going to make it into the playoffs, with the first place and second place receiving a bye to the semifinals. 3 will play 6 in the first quarterfinal, and 4 will play 5 in the other quarterfinal. So a little way of how it stacks up so far. Right now, Alberta in a playoff position at 5-1. However, Nova Scotia looking on the outside, just looking in a little bit. They're at 3-4, and they need a win here to get back in the contention here. So without further ado, we into the action here. The lead for Nova Scotia here, Aiden Kavanagh threw his first rock, just slipped it a little in the back 12. And Alberta not wanting to take any chances early. They're asked their lead, Balassi, to make the takeout, and we're off and running here from the Canada Winter Games.
A little surprised he walked up to hit that, but obviously they have a game plan, and they're
a little bit different than our game this morning, isn't it, Keith?
Oh, yeah, this morning they went after each other hard early.
Don't think we had a single end where we could catch our breath because it was offense, offense, offense.
Yeah, they were putting lots of rocks in play. It was making it quite interesting.
Absolutely. So Aiden Kavanagh makes the hit and stick, rolls a little bit towards the wing. Now Morgan Balassi for Team Alberta. I was talking to the Team Alberta boys before this game started, and all their names are pretty simple to pronounce, but I wanted to make sure that I was saying them all right, so I went and asked them. And of course, they had to give me some joke names that I'm supposed to say. So Balassi here, Morgan Balassi, or Bilassi, or different ways we can pronounce it. We're going to go with Balassi, though, is I think the one I'm going to stick with. Morgan rolls out there. So clean house here for Nova Scotia. Their second, Chris Churchill. No pressure. You like to throw these early in the game. Get a little bit of feel of draw weight.
Yeah, get a nice open draw.
These Nova Scotia boys all from the area of Halifax. Chris Churchill is actually from the suburb of Bedford. They were telling me that it's all basically 10 minutes from Halifax, so everybody's pretty close. Churchill's rock, once again, sliding into the back 12-foot. Moberg not wanting to take any chances. Going to take it out, ask his second. So he's going to ask his second here. Nicholas Warkman to make the takeout. Stay here, anywhere in the rings is kind of the ideal. Not used to this.
No. No, yeah, they're just kind of throwing them up and down the sheet here right now and not wanting to mix it up.
Absolutely not.
Especially at the back of the house. It's not really a steal point, so they definitely could have thrown a corner on either side or tried to freeze it as another way to try and generate some offense.
So Workman rolls out. Going to give Churchill another shot at this open house draw. Probably like to be at the top of the 4-foot with this. However, that back of the 12-foot seems to be pretty attractive to these kids right now. But
so far, yeah. Yeah, because you never know. I don't think it's going to happen. Switch gears for Alberta that they might freeze it, but if you're above the 4-foot, you know you're not going to give them that chance.
Absolutely. So Chris Churchill, like I said earlier, out of Bedford, Nova Scotia. His dad brought him to curl at age of 6, and he's been hooked ever since. So the kid's been curling for a long time. Now 16 years old, so he's been curling for about 10 years. Curling out of the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax. Famous Mayflower Curling Club, made famous by Colleen Jones. The team that won numerous Scotties championships.
Very famous curling club, yeah.
Nicholas Warkman here. Going to do a little bit better with this one. Stays around in the rings. Helston rolls it over in the side 12-foot. It's pretty consistent through the board, this Nova Scotia team, all 16 years old. All 16, all from the Halifax area, so it's always good when you get a team like that that's all about the same age and you guys can kind of grow up together and grow as a team. Teams like that often find the most success.
Yeah, you might see these guys in juniors in a year or two if they keep playing together, get another 2 or 3 years in playing together.
Absolutely. So now our first look at the Alberta third. This is Ben Helston out of Calgary, Alberta. Ben's quite the character, and before the game wanted me to give his Instagram a shout out. His Instagram is ben.helston. Give the guy a shout out. I'm sure he'd be happy even if he gained 1 follower. Kids nowadays in their social media just love it. Ben hits it right on the nose. Good way to get started. So we got a few curlers in this game that their role model is Mark Kennedy, and you can see Ben, you can kind of see the reason why, lefty thrower.
Yeah, I was noticing that the Nova Scotia team, quite a few of their idols are Alberta curlers.
Yeah. Mark's pretty easy guy to like, though. Kind of plays the sport the right way. Always a smile on his face, and I don't think anybody would have anything bad to say about Mark Kennedy.
No, that's right. Oh.
Maybe his friends. That's about it. McIntosh rolls out. It's going to allow. This is where you could see a little bit of offense if they wanted to mix it up. They could maybe go around that corner. However, Mulberg going to keep it simple. Ask Helston to draw here just into the forefoot. Boys aren't touching this one, though.
Yeah, they're just trying to go wide side. Keep it away from the corner. Looks like he might be a little bit hot. Oh.
Important to stay around there, though, because you might have seen Nova Scotia go around the corner just to kind of get the force. But sticking around on the back 12-foot will force Nova Scotia's skip. Ethan Young. Nice little simple one to start.
Seems to be a popular place at that back 12-foot this end.
Exactly.
Really tight iced here. He maybe throws it a little in out.
It looks like the Rachel Holman ice. The pop release.
Yeah.
Either that or we're going to see maybe our first overcurl of the day.
You're going to have to go hard on this. It will curl.
Wasn't quite an in-out release either, so maybe just a little bit under ice, but his sweeper did a good job to get enough of it.
Very good job.
Do you ever take the chance here, Keith?
No. I would.
Mulberg's not on your same page, though. A little bit more conservative. It's a good way to get your draw weight, though. Less pressure. Just draw to the open side. I guess the worry would be if you go around the corner, you slip a little bit deep, all of a sudden Nova Scotia freezes down on you, and you have to get forced. So.
Yeah, that's the danger of going in behind there. The ideal shot probably would be get a half in behind.
Yep.
If you go dead in behind and he makes the run back, then you're forced.
Yep.
But he's electing not to. Get a free shot at a draw here, see if he can find his weight.
Exactly, get some draw weight early. So Nathan Mulberg, our first look at the skip from Alberta. Gets one of those no pressure draws to the forefoot. Hopefully he can put that in his back pocket for later in the game.
I talked to one of the scorers that did the Alberta men's game this morning, and they said Nathan had a really good game this morning.
Perfect. Not to be a homer, but I might be cheering for Alberta.
Are we allowed to be homers?
I'm not sure. Are we supposed to be biased? We're just hired help, I think.
Yeah.
However, Team Nova Scotia did give me one of their hats earlier, so I think I got to cheer for both teams. I got my Sue Wester hat here now. So I guess I'll be unbiased for this game. Cheer for a good game.
That might come in handy for Alberta golf weather.
Exactly. You're not lying. Everybody who's in Red Deer right now is like, what golf weather? We're used to minus 35 right now.
Yeah, it's almost like we got a little reprieve today. It's only 5 or 6 below out there. It feels like summer from what we've had.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So Mulberg slips into the back 4. Young makes no mistake on his takeout. Important to stick around there because it forces Mulberg to get the blank. Well-coached team here, though. Nicole Bellamy, their coach, you can tell that they're coached well because Moberg was already in the hack, not wasting any time. They knew they were going to have to play the blank, so might as well come down, bank a little bit of time that you can use later in the game.
Yeah.
Moberg looks like he's close. They got to roll it out. And just enough.
Just enough, yeah.
Doesn't matter how you make them. It's a 4-4 either way. So non-eventful first end leads to a blank end, and after one end of play, we have Alberta no score, Nova Scotia no score. I don't have to do the updates in French this time either, Keith, so we can be saved by that. I'm sure all our Quebec fans have stopped tuning in, so we've probably lost viewers because of that performance last game.
The classrooms in Quebec can get back to normal.
Exactly. So the blank end in the first, we'll keep Alberta with the hammer here going to the second. See if we see a little bit more action this end.
Yeah, see if they decide to
mix it up a little bit.
Try to put some pressure on. I didn't see the call. Was it called for a guard?
He did call for a center guard, yep. Quick update on the girls' game. Nova Scotia, Alberta beside us. That's a big game as well. That was also a blank. So Alberta with hammer in that game as well. And Skip, Julia Bakos also blanked in the first end. So both Alberta and Nova Scotia games, both 0-0 after one end of play. So we got the center guard going up, and now we're going around it. So here comes our offense, Keith.
Yeah, we're going to start trying to mix it up.
Got some good signs out in the crowd, too.
It's a good crowd this afternoon.
Really good crowd, especially on this right-hand side with all the Alberta games right up here close. It'll be a cool atmosphere for the Alberta fans and the Alberta players. So Balassi's rack overcurls a little bit, comes out the back, and also slides into the back 8 foot or so.
Just a little heavy, yeah.
And Ethan Young staying on the aggressiveness. He's going to come around here right to top 4.
It's got lots of room here. Sweeping that, and they maybe could have been off.
Now sweeping to hold the line. Moberg helping them out a little bit. Not a bad shot. Leaves the front of the 4 foot open, however, does the trick kind of coming back to that back one.
Yeah.
Kind of those good shot, bad shot kind of things. Not a bad shot, I guess. Just different result. We'll leave the front of the house open for Morgan Balassi. Lead out of St. Albert, Alberta. You were saying earlier, Keith, that 2 of these teammates are from one place and 2 are from the other?
Yeah, 2 are from St. Albert. And Ben and Nicholas are, one's from Calgary and the other one's from Turner Valley.
All right. So a little bit from everywhere.
Yeah. All-star team.
Yeah. Good weight here by Balassi. Comes just behind the tee line. Sitting one. Alberta kind of got a corner freeze there a little bit. Left a little space. Young going to ignore it and going to come right around. Oh, he is calling a little bit of a hack weight. He's going to call a hack weight shot here for his second. Chris Churchill going to try and get a little bit to the inside of this. Important weight here because if you ever hang out, all of a sudden you jam, and all of a sudden Alberta's sitting 2 and drawing. So important on this one. Have the right weight. Sweepers are communicating right away that it is a little bit heavier than they expected. However, he also looks a little bit more inside than they expected, so it could work out.
Yeah, it was pretty tight ice.
Boys now getting on it, trying to keep it straight. He's going to hit it and avoid the jam, but he rolls to the back 4 foot, kind of creating a pocket for Alberta now.
Yeah. You would have rather stayed right, pretty much right there. They can get one in the pocket here. It'll be difficult to remove.
Absolutely. So now Nicholas Warkman, as stated earlier, out of Turner Valley, Alberta. Nicholas actually competed in the Nordic Junior Curling Tour in Sweden and won the Bill Ross Trophy in 2018. So a cool experience for him to go over to Sweden and play in an event.
No kidding. That'd have been a big thrill.
And a great shot here by Nicholas. Right to the top of the button. About half buried, however, it's kind of in front of the two blue stones.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. If he goes deeper, well then Nova Scotia would have been able to come down on top of him.
Absolutely. Nicholas's personal role model is Ben Hebert. Benny. Hopefully he throws more than one turn, unlike Benny. I think Benny's only got one good turn.
Yeah, he throws about 95% out turns.
However, it's probably more for Ben's amazing sweeping ability. Nicholas, a big kid himself, probably just inspired by Ben's awesome sweeping, and got to give Ben a little credit.
I'm not sure he's going to make contact here. No, just missed it and nosed his own at the back of the four. Gives Alberta a chance to put another one in on top of theirs.
So a little bit heavy there by Chris Churchill. It's going to leave Warkman another similar shot. The angle is important on this freeze. If you leave it a little bit too high side, all of a sudden the double's available. But if you can get almost to nose or a little bit over nose, actually, I don't mind either.
Yeah.
So it's important to get by tight, have the right weight here.
Got really good line.
Helston now working on it, trying to keep the weight. Looks like he's got a real good one here in a row.
Yes, perfect.
Great two shots there by Warkman. Important to control that front of that scoring zone. We call that anywhere from the top 4 foot, kind of top 8 foot, anywhere in front of between the 4 foot lines, kind of our scoring zone. So for Alberta to be sitting one, only sitting one at this time, but controlling that front of the house, which is very important.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Nova Scotia is doing here. He signaled just maybe a freeze tap, but Alberta will still be sitting two. Those yellows aren't going to go anywhere. Withdraw weight.
Absolutely. So advantage Alberta here in the second end. Nova Scotia trying to get one in there, find a good angle, maybe move things around, find a better angle.
Line looks pretty good.
This is basically mission accomplished for Nova Scotia. However, we'll see how it works out with angles. I don't see either of those blue or yellows going.
Not too far. I think they're dead jamming on that back one, I believe.
Yeah.
Unless they throw really, really big weight. Looks like Alberta's just going to throw a guard on the situation.
Yeah, which a little bit early in my mind to throw a guard here. All of a sudden you're just conceding that you just have the single point in there. Especially with the swing we've seen here in Red Deer, you're kind of allowing Nova Scotia both sides to get in. If you ever don't make the guard perfect and they can run something in and maybe lose some yellows, I would have liked to see them maybe come by tight on that run of guards and maybe come to the one on the side of the button.
Yeah, try to get to the nose of it.
Mm-hmm. However, he is going to come into the house.
Ooh.
Helston a little deep. Starting the lineup.
Yeah.
Alberta now, I think they're still only sitting one.
I think you're right, yeah. I believe that one on the side of the button blue is second shot. They're having a dog pile here now.
So big line of rocks. The only thing is if Nova Scotia could ever warp one in here.
And that's what they're going to try right now, coming the other turn. Question now, is it going to be the same weight as they've been throwing on the in turn?
Exactly. You might see it a little bit different pass, so you might see it run a little differently.
Exactly.
Keith's going to give us the time here and kind of see how this side's running. Line is probably one of the most important things here, though, because you do have a little bit of backing on your own in the back four.
Yeah, you don't want to just stick it out in the open here because then they can go.
So 15 seconds. That should end up somewhere in the top 8 foot. So he comes in just biting top 8. However, not a bad slot because he left it in a good position. Usable for Nova Scotia. Molberg content of just guarding it right now.
That's what it looks like.
However, his team doesn't seem too convinced.
No. If you could get to the nose of it with quiet weight. And it's hard because they're.
Oh, kicked a rock. Timeout. Officials timeout.
One of them trip hazards at the back of the house.
Exactly.
That's where the fellow at the end of the sheet with his little magnetic board.
Gotta help you out.
Help you out and where to put it back. So Alberta's going wide with the in. Don't know if they're tapping again or are they just guarding. I presume guarding. This one isn't going to get there.
They are just going with the straight guard. It's going to cut off that side and kind of leaves Nova Scotia this left-hand side to play with a little bit.
Yeah, they can tap that up. I'm not sure. This guard was the best call, but they made it. They're looking at guarding also.
Both teams content of just giving Alberta one stone.
It looks like it because it's going
1
to be
point.
tough to get in there for 2 right now. Not sure tapping that whole lineup of stuff is going to, it might get him 2. It's close.
It is close, so it's the only problem I have with Molberg's strategy here is he's not going to leave himself much for 2 unless he draws wide side around everything.
Yeah, he's really kind of cut down his scoring area.
Absolutely. On that last one, you could have maybe moved some of these ones on the right-hand side, change an angle, move something back, and maybe open up your scoring zone a little bit more.
Yeah, I liked your idea of trying to come around tight and maybe freeze that blue one on the side of the forefoot.
All of a sudden, you got that lineup, plus you got another stone in there. Nova Scotia content of just blocking this side up and saying, Alberta, do your best to get 2.
Yeah, they're just going to tick off it a little bit.
So Alberta sitting 1. We believe just sitting 1. Behind a mess of 3 guards and a mess of a big lineup of freezes. So Skip Nathan Molberg out of St. Albert. Their Instagram for their team is at Team Molberg. Pretty simple. Team MOLBERG. So now he's actually looking to peel the guard that he just threw or run back the guard he just threw, which is almost ironic because we just threw her up there.
Yeah, anytime you throw a guard in your first shot and you rip it on the second one, it might have not have been the best idea.
Exactly. Nonetheless, that's where we're at. So Nathan Molberg going to try and run back his rock, his guard that just was thrown by his third, Ben Helston. Try and run it back basically on the nose. That's kind of what he's looking for.
Pretty much, yeah, right dead on the nose.
And you might see some granite move here. Actually, he's playing the out turn, so it looks like he's playing some kind of double peel.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know what the call is at this point.
No.
I think it is the double peel, though.
It was over curling definitely for the run back. Doesn't change a whole pile. Puts another one in the lineup.
And Nova Scotia once again content of just guarding it up.
Yeah.
Guarding it up and make Molberg maybe make this wide out turn draw is basically his only shot I see, Keith, if he guards this up good.
Yeah, you want to make sure he gets out to the broom here because if it does over curl, I think Molberg might have an in-turn tap there. That piece of that blue at the edge of the 4-foot is sticking out
A little bit, yeah.
a little.
So if you could ever tap that back a couple inches and stick your shooter there, you might actually get 3.
Yeah, 2 for sure.
Yep. However, a good guard here by Skip Ethan Young. Won't allow much of that.
Looks like he might be coming right in. Maybe a little deeper than he wanted to, but Tis going to guard the rock at the edge of the 4 and kind of get hooked on the top one.
So he's a little bit heavy, slides into the top 12 foot. Which may actually give Mollberg a little bit easier shot for 2 here if he basically hits what he can see on this rock that they're lining up that was just thrown by Young. If he hits what he can see, basically anywhere into that pile, all he has to move is his, in this lineup, I guess the second yellow, 4th rock. If he moves that even a couple inches and moves the other one back, he should get his 2.
I think so.
It's close, but
really close.
It depends how much it spins off as well, too.
Yeah.
So important to hit as much as you can see here by Mollberg. Probably a good weight is only that board control weight, so you can manage it well.
That's the weight I think, yeah, he could throw. And then he's got a little more control over it with his sweepers. And there's no need to throw a bullet here. It's not going anywhere no matter what weight you throw. So have something a little more controllable.
But they did tighten up the ice, so it might be a little bit big. Oh, no, he is throwing it quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was quite enough ice.
It was tight ice for board type weight.
I like the weight choice, just not quite enough.
I believe he's on the guard, yes.
He is. Like the weight choice, just maybe not quite enough ice there. So it's going to be 1 point for Alberta in the force. So they'll lead 1-0 here after the second end. Nova Scotia will take the hammer into the third end. We have identical scores on the girls' side. They also got forced to 1. Julia Bakos tried to hit and roll out on her last one. Nosed hit, which led to the force, and Alberta girls also leading 1-0 after 2 ends of play. Looking across the sheets, we're not going to do around the rings just because every other sheet seems to be doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's not many points going up.
Nope.
I don't think there's even 1 deuce. All ones. Oh, there is 1 deuce.
1 deuce and everything else is a blank.
Blank or ones.
Ones.
Yeah.
So back on our feature sheet, 1-0 Alberta here after 2 ends of play.
Nova Scotia has the hammer for the first time. We'll see how aggressive they want to get with the hammer.
So looking back, maybe that second rock by Ben Helston, they called the guard and maybe could have made a play on that a little bit earlier. If you made a play with your thirds rock, it might have made things a little bit easier for Mollberg to maybe maneuver a second point or at least have something in position.
Yeah, like you were saying, there was pretty early in the end to start throwing guards. By the time it come down to the end, there was too many guards.
All of a sudden, it was really tough to get in there. Nonetheless, 1-0 Alberta after 2 ends of play. We get going here with lead Morgan Blassie.
Trying to throw a center line guard just short of the rings. And it looks like he's accomplished that.
Good stone. Kind of exactly where you want to go drop it down.
Nova Scotia's electing to go around the center guard versus he could throw a corner.
Go right with the aggression here. Try and get one right to the top of the 4 foot.
Yeah. It's got really good line.
This is Aiden Kavanaugh out of Dartmouth. Shout out to my family from Dartmouth. Maybe some of them are watching. Perfect shot there by Aiden.
Yes. Top 4. Buried
Lassie will try and come around with the opposite turn. He's going to stick with his out turn.
Try to corner freeze it.
Corner freeze, but the sweepers aren't touching this one. Maybe a little bit heavy.
Got lots of room, too, by the guard.
So running a little bit different path. It's going to stop back 8 foot, it looks like. Maybe just sneak into the 12, leaving Nova Scotia sitting 1.
Yeah, Nova Scotia can set another one in right on top of their own.
Important to have the right angle on these ones too. This is a good call to kind of try and get as much as you can right to the top of the 8 foot, maybe frozen to your own. But if you ever hang it out a little bit, you leave a double, all of a sudden kind of that advantage you had goes by the wayside.
Yeah, he needs to get close to the nose.
However, a good shot here can set up a big end early on.
Looks like he's got a really good line here. If he's got top 4 weight, they're sweeping it hard. I think they could have maybe been off it a little bit. Maybe they were sweeping it to get it by. It looks like that's what they were doing.
Sweeping 2 go by. We'll go back to the back 8 foot. Nova Scotia now sitting 2. Top 8 foot, back 8 foot. Both dead buried behind the center guard. So not a bad situation. That was kind of a good, if it was going to chip off and roll off, it's a good option. Good heads up by Ethan Young.
Yeah, that they must have been signaling they used a little heavy, and so they were sweeping it to get it by. They didn't want to rack on the one top 4 and leave an easy double. Alberta looks like maybe they're a little wide again. Mr. Workman maybe a little heavy.
Not touching this, kind of running that same line as his leads.
Yeah,
Palaci's was a little bit heavier even.
Yeah, he's going to go back and pick his own and roll out. He had such good draw weight last end, I thought he would make that pretty easy.
Exactly. So now Nova Scotia sitting 2, dead buried. Just getting caught a little bit. Case of the heavies, I guess. Churchill can take real big advantage here if they can kind of get one either right on top of their own dead frozen, or if they can even come a little bit by it and kind of Christmas tree it a little bit.
Yeah, if they can. They're signaling it might be a little heavy.
This might go back to that plan B again.
Yeah. Could be one of those ends where the dog piles at the back of the 8 foot.
Yeah. It looks like it is indeed sliding. 14-2-8, so that should be just back 8.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Actually slips into the 12 foot.
So it's looking like probably 14-7-5, 15 is
pretty quick
probably
tonight.
the draw weight. Yeah, a little quicker on maybe the warmer weather outside is keened her up a few tenths.
So now Mollberg going to bail a little bit here. Going to ask his second, Nicholas Workman. We're bailing on the hits. We're going to try and run something back and get rid of some blue.
Yeah, he's had enough of this drawn to the back 8 foot.
Workman looking for the run back here. He's got to stay close to nose. He's close.
He's real close.
Oh,
Oh, there's bad luck, and he jams it.
he dead jams it. He's left the guard up, and he's left 3 Nova Scotia stones now sitting at the back of the 8 foot. Kind of one of those really close to a perfect shot, and it turns out
Just about as worse as you could imagine.
Yeah. The only benefit for Alberta is they all are behind the tee line.
And now it's their rock they're running back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little wall there at the back, and it's accessible with either turn, so it's going to be hard for
Nova Scotia to keep those from keep those counting, I guess.
Exactly. So I think they just got to ignore that and try to get this one back where the last one was. Top 4 buried. Build your end from there.
So Nova Scotia looking to take full advantage after that unlucky break by Workman. Chris Churchill looking to suck one around.
They're going hard on this one.
I think it's one of those cases when you're heavy with the first, you make an adjustment, you make a little bit too much of an adjustment. 'Cause that wasn't anywhere close.
No, that was.
Kind of gives the advantage right back to Alberta here if they could ever get one frozen back there or even top 4 foot.
Anywhere in there now.
All of a sudden, advantage is right back to them. So
Yeah.
Nova Scotia sitting 3 here in the second end. Alberta leading 1-0. However, Nova Scotia has the hammer and sitting 3 here.
Mr. Helston will be throwing his intern.
A lefty intern.
Crazy lefties.
He doesn't look very happy with this either, and the sweepers aren't close.
They're, yeah.
However, the lefty intern will curl a little bit more.
That's right.
And you're seeing that. He'll get a little bit inside the line.
Oh, yeah, he's got
plenty of weight. However, not a bad result.
worked out not bad. Yeah, he had plus back ring weight.
So he's pushed one of the blue rocks out of the rings. Stays frozen, kind of corner frozen to the Nova Scotia Stones. He is shot rock now.
Yeah.
And Helston's kind of, or sorry, Ethan Young now. He's kind of bailing, I guess, on this.
Really?
I wouldn't mind if they played like a back ring out, try to get across the face.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, they're going to play appeal here and kind of get things off the front.
There's lots of room back there. I am, like you, a little surprised he doesn't throw something a little quiet, trying to come down and get over the nose a little. I realize they're all behind the tee line, but.
So he gets the rock off the center line. However, he's left the center guard up. You got to be aware of this one for Moberg too, though, because now he's opened up basically the yellow rock to get it out on that side. So you got to have a good rock here. If you can somehow get dead buried top 4 foot, you're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and go right around and sink it into the top 4.
Helston just threw this, so he should be familiar with the speed. This is where as sweepers you should communicate, saying a couple feet less. You threw about hack weight last time, so maybe 10 or 12 feet less. However,
yeah.
Line is important, though, and they're going to get by.
Oh, yeah, he's got back ring again.
Now trying to make it curl, but that lefty intern we've talked about.
It finished good.
Finished good. He's stuck out a little bit now. Alberta is sitting 2, both back of the 4 foot and kind of back 8 foot. I don't think you'll be able to get both of them out if you're Nova Scotia here. However, with them being behind the tee line, still a lot of options for Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I think his best option is just try and nose this. I mean, the double might be there if he hits it real thin, but he's not keeping the shooter, and he's just going to give Alberta the same shot. So if he could get to the nose of that.
So now, third, Kieran McIntosh trying to get through this hole.
Kind of stuck it out a little bit.
A little bit out on release, a little bit in and out, and I don't think it's going to get by.
Oh, no.
Almost
just ticked the guard.
By taking the guard, he's also left the center guard right in the way. So now Alberta sitting 2. If they could get one here, top 4 foot, you're in real good position to score. To maybe get a steal here and kind of change the momentum.
Yeah, that wasn't the way to miss that shot. You wanted to rack on the other one if you're going to rack and open it up. Give your skipper a chance to have a shot on his 2 shots.
A good shot by Moberg, and you might see Ethan Young having to run something back now and try and get some yellow to move.
It did open up the possibility of an intern draw, I guess, if he has to go that way.
Yep. Good crowd here tonight.
Very good.
Just keeps getting more and more people. I love it. So Nathan Moberg, skip from St. Albert, Alberta, trying to get here top 4 foot. Had a little trouble with the heavies in this end, so we can see if we can get a better one in there for him. Sweepers look like they're on and off this one. Now having to go a little bit.
Yeah, the line looks pretty good.
So now it's just the weight. With their line good, they just got to keep going for weight, try and drag this as far as they can.
Yeah, they're going hard on this one, trying to get 8 foot.
So he just sneaks into the top 8 foot. Good position to leave it, though. Alberta still only sitting 2. Back 4 foot and back 8 foot. It's going to leave the intern draw for Young.
Yeah, he'll try to come right down to the top button. With the finish here, shouldn't have any trouble getting to that rock at the back of the 4. However, he'd probably prefer to stop it buried top button.
Absolutely.
Make Moberg move it.
The nice thing about where Moberg's rock stuck too, though, it didn't quite get buried either. It's almost edge to edge. So if Young does get a good one in here, it might leave Moberg some kind of little run back or tap back and still be able to get that out of there.
Yeah, that's right. You can see close to 7/8, good 3/4 of it. So there's lots there to play the top. Got a nice line here. They were off it a little bit. Maybe they shouldn't have been.
So got to go for weight now. They're by the guard. Got to get by the one top 8 and just rub off.
They could have been on that all the way.
So Young comes a little bit light. He is second shot now. So by getting second shot, it's kind of limited the damage a little bit. But Moberg's probably going to guard this side up. And
I presume that's what he'd do.
how do you get one in there if you're Nova Scotia? The only other option, Moberg's now going back down. He kind of sees a little tap, maybe to take advantage. Do you ever consider tapping that one on the right-hand side, Keith?
He could if he tapped her right on the nose.
If you tap it right on the nose, maybe get it behind that blue one a little bit, or even just to the side forefoot. Makes Young's shot really hard to score.
Straight back, and yeah, he'd force Young to play the tap on the one he just threw, which is 7/8 buried. So it's not an easy tap.
So Moberg is considering that. I think that's what he's going to go with.
I believe so, yeah, with that ice. You'll need a little more weight. Good T-line weight. So you can tap that top 4. Probably looking at trying to throw like a 14-3, 14-4 weight here.
Kind of that back 8, back 4, back 8 weight. Try and move it just enough. Maybe try and get it into the top forefoot.
Yeah.
They have seen this spot numerous times this end, so they should be used to it by now.
Yeah, they've thrown about 12 of the 16 rocks down this path.
And just by quick observation, he did not kick out very hard out of the hack there. I don't think this is quite going to be enough weight.
Maybe he's just guarding.
I don't know if that was the call, but he did not kick out very hard.
Yeah, 16.
So maybe taking away the double, but that would have only been for 1 as well.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't know. I don't think there's much on that side for Nova Scotia. I not sure what he was guarding there.
Yeah. So now Ethan Young got to come by tight here with the in-turn. I think he's going to come by tight and try and tap his own up. He's got to move it about 1.5 feet.
Yeah, 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Got to get full 4 plus a little bit. Sweepers are yelling maybe heavy. He's also maybe a little tight.
So they got to go to keep it straight for him.
They're going hard to get it by the center line guard, and I think he's all over it.
So the weight might have been close, but a little bit tight out of the hands. Going to lead to a steal of 1 here for Alberta. They'll take a 2-0 lead going into the 4th end. So just a little bit tight there by Young.
I think that was, yeah, it's tough to tell the weight, but yeah, he was definitely just a little inside. Started curling right away, and they didn't give it a chance to get it by the guard.
It's one of those ones you know you have to get by tight, so you kind of slide a little bit tight, hoping to squeak by. But with the way this is moving, you could almost get it out there, make sure you're out there, and then let it curl late and make the shot.
That's right.
You got to trust it that it's going to curl. So 2-0 here, Alberta. Over on the girls' side of things, Nova Scotia scored 1 in the 3rd end, so they're tied up. Alberta ladies and Nova Scotia ladies tied 1-1 after 3 ends of play.
Moberg, now he's 2 up, is calling for it. Top 4.
So switching strategies a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Trying to play it a little more open.
Not a bad shot when you're up 2.
Yeah.
Kind of the basic strategy now that you're up 2. Put it in the house and make the team move it. Some young teams might want to hit that rock when you throw it top 4, and then you're laughing because you got them played in the house. So
that's right.
We'll see if Young ignores it and throws up the corner, which you should do. So Morgan Balassi, trying to get right to the top 4 foot.
Right to the button.
He's going to slide a little bit behind the button. It's not your fault, Morgan. That's your sweepers.
Yeah. They did give that a few licks. Or they probably could have just cleaned it.
So if you watch this later, Morgan, you can blame them. So Young is going to ignore it, throwing up the corner.
This looks like it. Well, it looks like it's going to be okay. I thought initially maybe it was a little speedy. Perfect corner.
Good shot there by Kavanaugh.
Moberg will probably try to throw it in again, try to get it top 4, I'm guessing. I don't think he wants a long guard.
No. You go long guard, and all of a sudden you're leaving your rock behind the button with the guard up. Probably not a good situation. So coming right in here is a good call.
See if the boys sweep this one a little better.
Boys working on this one. Balassi, know that he slid a little bit deep on that last one. Might have given him a little bit less and said, boys, you want to sweep? Here's this one.
Yeah, I'll make you sweep.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect shot.
So right to the top 8. Good sweeping there by Helston and Warkman. So Young now doesn't want to ignore these two, apparently, so he's going to play a little bit of a hit and roll off these. Important to throw the right weight because you can't afford to roll out here.
That's right. Got to stick.
This one is taken off early, though. So he is going to stick. However, he's going to roll over to the far 12-foot. Oh, I might have spoke too soon. I did.
It did
Rolls
roll
right out on the far side.
I think he was expecting, he had tight ice, so I think he was expecting that little setback, and he threw that one too good.
Yeah. They have been a little bit under icing Nova Scotia today, if anything.
Yeah, they must all have a tendency to maybe
Set it back a little bit, or
in out it a little bit,
Yep.
set it a little, yeah.
the team home and release a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that do that. If you do it consistently, I guess it's, I always thought you should just throw it straight at the broom, which I couldn't do.
That consistency is key in this game.
Well, it's tough to ice. I always thought, how do you ice it tight when they're throwing it back? Like,
Exactly.
had me confused.
Yeah.
Another good draw, this time by Workman.
So now at the top 4 foot and back 4 foot, Alberta sitting 2. It's going to force Churchill. He's going to try and play a little bit of double here, maybe across the face, make the double and roll towards his corner. They're on it early again, though. However, I did see a little bit of a pop release on this one. You can see it coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I say pop, I mean just the sliding a little bit tight and then just putting it back to the broom a little bit for our viewers at home. You see more pop kind of releases, more positive pop releases, however you want to term for it. More the arena ice, kind of where you have to get it out to the broom. So Red Deer being very similar to Red Deer ice. Maybe their coach instructed them to do that here. Markman now just trying to hit this somewhere close to the nose. Stay around the middle would be a good shot. He's going to roll a little bit to the outside. However, no really worries for Alberta.
Yeah, good shot. The big thing was to stick there. Nova Scotia is going to continue to hit. They could go in behind the corner. They could play a freeze or a tap on that one in the 4 foot. They're electing to hit the one high in the 8 foot and try to roll on top of the one in the 4 foot.
Big weight here, though, by Churchill.
Huge weight.
This has got to curl up just to make contact. He's going to slide by on the wide side. Moberg, I don't think even let that one come through the house. He was ready to peel this guard.
Yeah, he was galloping up there when that rock was about halfway down the sheet.
Wasted no time.
Yeah,
Peel made by Helston here, and all of a sudden the end's kind of toast.
that's a bad miss. He had to stick on that to trouble with hitting and throwing that big weight if you're not deadly accurate.
Another big weight here, and I think
Whoop.
we got another miss. So Helston answers Churchill's miss with a miss of his own.
Couple
overthrows almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids got pretty excited, and they both kind of threw those ones from the hip.
They had some weight on them.
The old Trevor Sparks 4-second peel. 6 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever. I think I was giving him a little too much credit there.
He can chuck them out of there. We used to have a cash spiel in Cranbrook around Easter time, which would be like a month from now. They don't have it anymore, but it was kind of the last spiel of the year and always a pretty good party. And they had a contest there, who could throw it the fastest. They timed it from hog to hog. I think Trevor won it 2 or 3 years in a row.
Oh, jeez. What would that time be around? Was it 6 seconds around?
I can't remember. I just knew he won it every year.
How many different things did they have to put on the backboards to stop that rock from coming?
Yeah, about 80 feet of foam.
Yeah. So the third, Kieran McIntosh, tried to hit and roll over a little bit, but however he stayed kind of on the nose. Mohlberg doesn't want to bring anything either close to here, so he asks his third, Helston, to hit it right on the nose as well.
Yeah, threw that one good.
Good adjustment there.
Now they're switching gears. They're going to hit the one in the 4-foot.
Not a bad call now that Alberta Stone's kind of up in the top 12.
Yeah. Could roll it in behind the corner, and it'll be deep, but I got her part way there.
Part way there, not a bad shot. He's kind of got maybe a corner buried.
Got a sliver in behind.
Watching the Alberta girls skip there, just made basically a triple almost. Good shot by Julia Bakos. So now back to our sheet. Skip Nathan Bolberg can see about 7/8, maybe the full thing. Full rock here. He's got to throw about board weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Kind of maybe heavy board.
It'd be ideal to kind of roll back as close as you can to the center here too, because if you sit right here, all of a sudden Nova Scotia makes that roll behind the guard, and you're facing one dead buried with your last stone. So important to roll as much as you can back to the middle.
Yeah, if he can roll it right to the back of the 4-foot, it makes their roll that much tougher.
They're on it early. This side does curl a little bit more. So Balassi on it, trying to hold it straight for him.
Yeah,
good sweeping there.
Just cleaning now. He's going to roll her back maybe too far. Nah, it's not bad.
Good shot there by Mohlberg. Good sweeping by Balassi.
However, we'll see how aggressive Mr. Young is, because he could get shot rock by going in behind that corner. He would be shot. He just needs a piece of the 8-foot. However.
Yeah. So the other thing he is looking at, maybe a double, maybe hit and roll in front.
Yeah,
so
double he could maybe get away with a blank then, eh?
Yeah. Not much ice here, though. Like, he's actually asking for less as he slides away, so. Oh, he's still asking for less. I got to watch his release here. They must be a little bit in out.
Have to be, because if you threw that
half decent, you're
straight at the rock,
you're hitting his back 12-foot one.
Yeah, it's going to overcurl unless you're throwing a bullet.
So Ethan Young here for Nova Scotia, facing 2 Alberta Stones in the 4th end. Alberta leading 2-0.
I'm guessing they must have good curling ice at the Mayflower.
Mm-hmm.
Rocks that curl, because if you come from a rink that doesn't curl, you wouldn't be trying to throw that pop release.
Exactly. And
straight ice, you wouldn't make nothing with that.
He's
got the double. What do we know?
Exactly. Takes tight ice. He knew exactly where he had to ice himself. So good shot there by Ethan Young. Makes the double. Not just makes the double, stays in the rings.
Yeah.
So his blank is back in order. So now Mulberg trying to hit and stick. It'd be nice to give maybe Young a different spot to look at. So
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to roll it maybe 3 or 4 feet towards the center line. Make his rollout a little further also.
So Mulberg looking to hit this.
Looks like he's stuck.
Yep.
Yeah, right on the nose.
So right on the nose does the trick. However, staying right in that spot kind of allows Young basically nose or anywhere high side, and he'll get the blank.
Yeah, they were sweeping it to try and make it curl a little bit at the end, trying to get a little bit of an inside roll. Again, not much ice, but that's more than he had on the last one.
Kind of putting it right in the middle of the stone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much of a pop release, though, so.
Oh, that's right. You're going to have to go on this.
Go on this to keep it on the nose or high side. He's going to stay dead nose, which is actually going to stay in the rings.
Yeah.
So the unintentional force there by Alberta works out in their favor. Nova Scotia takes a single point. So Alberta now leading 2-1 after 4 ends of play. Alberta will have the hammer coming here after the 4th end break. Do a quick update around the rings here, Keith, before we take a little break ourselves.
Sure. Way over in the far side, looks like the territories. I don't know if they're on their break, so I don't know if that's men or women over there.
I think that's our men on the far side.
The territories men are up 4-1 on New Brunswick. And the next sheet would be the ladies then, up 3-1 for New Brunswick. Saskatchewan is ahead of BC 3-1 on sheet C. And it's 3-2 for Saskatchewan on sheet D. Again, I'm not sure, sorry, who's...
I believe the men, Saskatchewan, are up 3-1, and the ladies are up 3-2 on BC.
Men, Manitoba is up down 3-1, sorry, to Ontario after 4 ends. The ladies are tied 1-1 playing 5. Quebec and PEI are tied 3-3 playing 5. The men or ladies, Quebec, that was the men, sorry. Men, PEI, and Quebec men are tied 3-3 after 4. Quebec ladies and PEI ladies are tied 2-2 after 4, I believe. They haven't marked the score. Again, our game 2-1 for Alberta men, and then the next sheet, the ladies, after getting a deuce in the 4th end, are up 3-1 on Nova Scotia.
Perfect. Thank you, Keith. So after our break, we got a couple-minute break here for our 4th end. Alberta leading 2-1 after 4 ends of play from 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. Back in action here at the Canada Winter Games. We're back in action with Alberta, Nova Scotia. Alberta leading 2-1 after 4 ends of play. Alberta will have hammer here in the 5th end. Nova Scotia stone right off the bat by lead Aiden Kavanaugh actually picked. We saw our first pick and hog of the day. So nothing in play here for lead Morgan Balassi out of Alberta, looking for the corner guard, and they're going to go to the offense here right away. It's a good time to mention all the people we got to be thankful for an event like this to run so smoothly. All our volunteers, we got countless 5,000 volunteers throughout the Canada Games, so thank you to everybody involved, including our amazing Siham Akkad here from Lebanon. She's our amazing videographer here doing the video. Everybody involved with the webcast, thank you so much. Everybody back at Results. Everybody that does anything that's volunteering here for the Canada Winter Games, so thank you so much to everybody, including my fellow commentator, Keith. We got a lot of people to be thankful because it takes a lot of people to run an event like this.
Yes, absolutely. Again, Red Deer's come to the call when they needed a whole bunch of volunteers.
That also includes our ice crew here, Wade and his crew. Shout out to them. The ice has been absolutely fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. Our athletes and everybody has been so floored by this facility and the ice conditions and everything. So great job to everybody involved here at the Red Deer Fraternity Center. So Kavanaugh's second rock didn't end up picking, so got one out front. So now we got a center guard up for Team Nova Scotia. Alberta went with the corner guard with their first. Now instead of going around their corner, they're going to take play right to the middle. Morgan Balassi trying to get to the 4 foot.
Yeah, or top 8, even top 8 would be a good shot.
He's got to that top 8 kind of position. However, he's left it mostly exposed.
Yeah, it's probably just an inch or two that's buried, so.
So Churchill going to try and take it out. Maybe some nice board weight, hack weight. Try and maybe get a little bit across the face.
Yeah, I didn't see a weight call, but he must have secret signals. Looks like he's pretty good. Oh, now it's starting to move a little. They're going to have to go to get this by.
He will rack on his front guard, so he's going to take away his front guard.
Yes.
And actually bumped there by McIntosh, the third. That guard would have went a little bit farther.
Now you'll see Alberta going behind that corner they threw up. Oop,
Oh.
I lied.
So kind of an interesting call here by Mollberg.
Yeah, he tricked me. I thought for sure he'd be going in behind the corner.
Especially with Hammer here, sitting one on the top of the 4 foot. You could go around either corner at this point.
Exactly.
But instead of going around either corner,
If you don't make a good,
we're going to throw a center guard up with Hammer.
if you don't make a good center guard here, they're going to go around, and this is exactly what Nova Scotia wants, is them to throw a center.
And that is indeed what Workman does. Makes the shot exactly perfect.
Yeah. I see on the bios, Mr. Workman is an Athlete of the Year winner and also an MVP of the rugby team. I take in Turner Valley, the Oilfield Drillers.
Oilfield Drillers. Is that now ever an Alberta name? Wow.
So it seems Mr. Workman is a very good athlete.
Rugby player. So maybe that's why he's a fan of Ben Hebert. Ben Hebert was the football player, and Nicholas here, the rugby player.
I was thinking of that when you said his hero was Ben. I said, aha.
Yeah.
Rugby
Not
player.
quite our sports, is it, Keith?
No.
Rugby, football?
No.
I don't think that's our specialty. We're more of the golf curling style.
Exactly. I don't have to beat up the golf ball.
Sometimes you want to, though.
Yeah. Rugby, that's, I've watched it. It's a great sport. But wow, you better be in shape playing that.
Absolutely. So the second, Churchill's rock slides a little bit back to the back 12 foot. Now Mollberg's going to utilize his corner guards, try and get around this, try and maybe get into the side 8 foot. If you could get side 8-foot dead buried, you're actually in a pretty good position here if you're Alberta.
Yeah.
However, this one seems to be sliding on the boys. They're not getting anywhere close to it. Young going to work on it to try and get it out.
Going to hang just at the back.
Just at the back, however, it is third shot.
Seems like Nova Scotia is more aggressive without the hammer than they were with the hammer.
Yeah, absolutely. You could make that short little run back right in front.
Exactly.
Get rid of that one. Instead, they're going to come right around, try and maybe freeze to the top, one on the top 4 foot.
Oh, he's bellering. I don't know if that picked or what.
It's kind of lost its handle early, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it must have picked. It just started going sideways.
But it does get over, so it kind of cuts off that side now, too.
Yeah. We're going to go back in behind the corner, I believe.
This one's curling early here for Ben Helston. Got to work to get it by.
Yeah, they're really.
Velocity's really on the inside trying to keep it straight. However, I don't think they're quite going to get.
Oh, he's on the guard. I don't know if he was a little tight. Looked like his weight was good.
Yeah. Just overcurled a little bit for them. So Alberta's still sitting one. Kind of now behind a mess of guards.
This is starting to turn into a messy end, isn't it?
Young didn't look too happy when he put the broom down there. They need to get this one in there. However, they still do have that short little run back, but instead they're going to try and warp everything around. Not a bad call considering you don't have hammer. However, you're kind of banking on the fact that Alberta's not going to get another one in there.
Yeah, he's got to make one here pretty quick or he might not have a avenue to get in there. And he's tight with this one. They're working it hard, trying to get her by. No, he's racked. It's going to roll off.
Any Oilers fans out there? They were actually tied with Toronto for a bit, but they've given up 3 goals to open the second period within 2 minutes. So now Toronto leading 4-1. That's a good start for the Oilers, right where they should be, I guess. I don't know why I cheer for this team anymore.
I get a kick out of the hockey fans around. I'm an old Original Six fan.
Yep.
Which is Toronto. So I've had a lot of lean years, but I always get a kick where the Flames fans and the Oilers fans get into it.
Oh, man. I don't even get into it anymore. I'm just one of those depressed Oilers fans.
There's a few of them around these days.
There's a lot of, like, those ignorant, optimistic Oilers fans. I'm definitely not one of them. I'm one of those realistic, depressed Oilers fans. Back to curling a little bit to get my mind off my depression. Ben Helston wraps one around the corner guard. However, I don't think he got quite enough for second shot, so
No.
Alberta's going to be sitting third and fourth. And, of course, first shot dead buried behind this kind of world fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of guards. They're going to swoop the other way.
Nova Scotia, Skip, Ethan Young here. Going to try and come around with the intern. If you could get ever one dead buried kind of the side of the button here, it could be tough to get out for for Alberta.
Yeah, this is a perfect chance to sink one here. Finishes so nice. If he's got the right line, he can bury this right on the top of the button. Again, and there looks like they're going hard for line again. Yeah.
Just another case of Nova Scotia not quite getting enough ice, or maybe not quite getting out to the broom.
Yeah, I'm not one or the other because they seem to be racking on a lot of rocks.
Now Alberta looking at actually maybe some kind of tap. If they could ever move that blue one out of the rings, all of a sudden you're sitting 4 and you're in pretty good position.
Yeah. And
I don't mind. It's maybe a little bit early, though. If you could ever get one top 4 foot dead buried on this side, all of a sudden Nova Scotia is going to have a tough time getting in there. I know it's kind of appealing to get rid of that one. However, if you come back and tap that one out, all of a sudden Nova Scotia wraps one in there, and you might see a steal. So
Exactly. You're going to leave him the same shot he just had.
so
I like the top 4 shot that you called there. That he's sitting 2 buried then, and if they don't make a good shot, he can maybe access that
exactly.
on his next shot, or just draw for 3. 3 ball would be good.
Yeah. So they have switched plans a little bit here. They are going to go a little bit higher with this one.
Okay, just top 4.
Yeah, they're going to go a little bit higher, maybe top 4. I think he actually indicated top 12, top 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think he'd want to be buried maybe full 8.
I know there's that appeal to go for that rock and kind of sit 4, but you never want to allow a skip to throw the same shot twice.
Yeah, and he could throw it right to the back and hold him to 2.
He could throw it right to the back and hold you to 2. He could throw a good one in there. All of a sudden, you're facing a steal. So
Steal one, yeah.
good adjustment here by Moberg. If you can get a good rock in, if they have good line, take it right into the 4-foot, and they're actually in good position. So it all depends on his weight.
He's got good line here.
Boys are working on farm early. They are indicating they want this to stop kind of top 8, top 12.
Ooh, they're going to have to go hard this.
So is he going to sneak into the rings? Yeah, he's going to sneak just into the top 12-foot. So Alberta now sitting 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Makes it a little bit dicey for Nova Scotia. You almost want to, if you could get ever to the corner of that one, freeze there. Or
he's gotten not a very easy way in there right now. That's probably all he can do is corner freeze that one that's top 4.
Exactly. That's why I didn't mind if you're Alberta, especially with Hammer, being a little bit more aggressive, trying to get one in there. Because all of a sudden you leave this high, and if Nova Scotia makes a good freeze, how do you get your second point? You got to come around everything and maybe bite the side or play a little tap. But sometimes if you make the shot earlier, it makes the other team's shot a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, being it was the same shot twice in a row, that's what.
Exactly. So now Young only facing 1, not as much pressure, especially you are throwing a different turn if you're Young. So you got to account for that. But
he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to bounce off this one at top 4.
All of a sudden leave a double for a big number.
For a really big, crooked number.
A mittful, some would say.
Yeah. So he's got to be really careful here. Line looks good. Didn't get a time on it.
So they just got to go for weight a little bit here now. Line looks real good.
Really good.
Boys got to keep working on this.
They could have maybe stayed on that a little longer. Oh,
but he is enough for second shot, which is important because now Moberg will only have a shot for 2.
Yeah. Play the tap for 2. Looking like for a while there they might get a whole bunch. Good shot by
Young to kind of limit the damage.
Mr. Young there to.
So Moberg's last here in the 5th end, trying to tap his one that he just threw in the top 12-foot. Trying to tap it back, try and get his 2. All he really has to do is move it into the 8-foot. So weight not as important as line. Kind of hit it anywhere on the high side, you should be able to make it.
Yeah,
it looks like he's pretty good.
Just got to get a bite, mister. You got to get a bite of the 8-foot. Looks like he's done that.
Done just that. Great shot there by Moberg. Will get his 2. So Alberta now leading by a score of 4-1 after 5 ends of play. Moberg, I guess if your team meeting was to get a deuce and that's kind of what you decided, he's done just that. So well done there by Moberg. Takes a 4-1 lead. On the girls' side of things, I was told by Dave Netowin that Nova Scotia made a pretty good shot, feathered one top of the house and rolled back and stuck it in the back of the 4-foot to get their single point. So the girls, Alberta now leading 3-2 over Nova Scotia after 5 ends of play. Alberta girls will have Hammer in the 6th end. So both Alberta teams leading. So Some good starts here by both of these teams.
Imagine Mr. Moberg will be calling for this into the 4-foot after getting his deuce up 3, playing 6. He'll want to keep things fairly simple.
Oh, really, eh? Just for the last drug for Quebec. Oh, okay. Because we didn't have a shot, but she will move down. She'll move soon? Yeah. I'm pretty sure my cameraman is going back to his place. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. It was only for the last drug, yeah. Okay, no worries. Thanks. Yeah, sorry about that.
Mr. Balassi throwing the in-turn draw.
Just tell me, I'll text him.
Trying to get it top 4.
That's great. Yeah, she moved in. Yeah.
Important to get this right to the top 4 foot because you don't want to leave a guard and all of a sudden you're bringing the action above the rings.
Yeah.
So a really good shot here by Balassi. That's perfect positioning.
Mr. Young is
on the corner.
I believe so.
We hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
He is indeed throwing the corner. He's asking his lead in Kavanagh.
He's tricked us a couple times. Yeah, it looks like he's got a nice, nice weight here for the corner.
Leads are both playing pretty well this game. They're kind of setting their ends up for them. We haven't seen many slip into the rings or anything. So
no, they've they've had their draw weight for sure. Mr. Moberg is now calling Morgan Balassi to basically duplicate what he just threw, maybe a couple feet less weight.
These are always kind of tricky too because you don't want to kind of over stagger them a little bit. You don't want to get day-seed. I shouldn't say that too loud with Dave standing behind us, but you don't want to get day-seed if you stagger them and all of a sudden a team can bury around something. And
yeah, you'd like to be dead in line and maybe a foot or two short of the one you threw. You don't want to freeze it. That makes it easier for the other team.
Good positioning there, though.
Pretty good, yeah. Ethan Young's calling, I believe, to go in behind the corner for Aiden Kavanagh.
So this is where, as sweepers, you communicate with your lead. You're just saying throw a couple feet more. We didn't sweep the last one too much. Throw a couple feet more, and we'll get it right in there for you. Seems like it is over curling, though.
A little bit light. Basically threw the maybe even a little less weight because they didn't sweep the first one much, just kind of cleaned it.
Now Moberg going to throw a center guard up on this. Kind of likes his position that he's got right now. So if you could throw a guard on this.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to go rip them blue ones, but 5 rock rule, you can't do that yet. You probably want this half tight. I don't think you want a real long center guard or guard on those yellows. Working it, they're trying to cover the one top button.
Pretty good position there, I think. Left a little bit exposed, however, that's a pretty tough shot.
Yeah. Could make it, obviously it's a very precise shot, but if he had just kind of back ring weight, then he could flop right in behind those two that are staggered corners.
So a tough shot here by Chris Churchill. However, if you can get by tight, like he said, that could be a really good result for the Nova Scotia boys.
Line was looking pretty good. Gonna have to go hard. Keep her going.
Yeah, he's got a good one here, it looks like. Gets by the first one, gets by the second one. Hits and rolls, and very good shot there by Nova Scotia.
I called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and behind 2 stagger guards, so
Once again, Mulberg loves when he has the peel. He runs up there about as quick as I've seen.
yeah, he's good and decisive on his game plan usually.
Yeah.
Mr. Workman going to try and make the double peel, get rid of everything. Oop. Didn't quite get rid of everything and end up bouncing one of them blues into the 12-foot.
Into the rings.
Needed to hit that a little more on the coming side.
A little bit of an overcurl, though. A little bit of a mistake by Alberta. Will allow Young another chance to get another one behind here. Now going to sit 2 if they can make this.
Yeah, you'd love to have this kind of half buried top 8-foot. Give that one at the tee line there, give it a little bit of a cover.
So a big shot here.
He's just top 12 and dead buried. You'll see Alberta hit that back one and try to roll it in. Looks
Light.
like it's over curling again. Yeah, it's light, I guess, more than anything, isn't it?
The boys were going on this basically the whole way, and still is going to only end up about a halfway guard. So just light out of his hand. Mr. Helston seems he's forgot his throwing broom. He's got to go all the way back down the ice. For all Mulberg being decisive, Helston forgetting his broom has now negated all that time that they spent, or
We're saving.
they're saving, yeah.
Yeah, when you're tight on time, you don't want to be doing that.
No. So they're just going to try and eliminate this rock. I'm pretty sure they're throwing about control weight, so they're not too worried about where their shooter goes. Just trying to eliminate this Nova Scotia stone is the important thing.
Yeah.
Workman working on it, and they are going to get it. They're going to roll a little bit to the outside. A little bit too far to sit third shot. However, Alberta's sitting 2 now.
I'm surprised they played that with that much weight. I thought they might play something quiet and try to
Roll inside.
flop her in.
By rolling to the outside, it's now going to allow Nova Scotia a chance to kind of get right on through, kind of get right behind the guard and maybe sit 1 and set up a maybe deuce.
Yeah, basically the same shot they just had. Needs a little more weight. Line's looking better. Four-
14.
Should be T-line or maybe a little back of T-line.
Exactly as Keith indicated, just behind the tee line. He is dead buried, though. Kind of the main objective there for Nova Scotia.
Yeah, good shot.
This is where you could see them, Alberta, follow it down if they wanted to, especially with the lefty Helston. He could get a little bit more curl on this side. However, Mulberg probably looking at the scoreboard and saying, we're up 4-1. These things are going to get us in trouble. Make a good double peel for me third and
Yeah,
get out of a little bit of trouble.
let's just play her safe and rattle something. Thought he might have played that over the nose and tried to get rid of both of them. Really didn't.
So leaves the guard up and the Nova Scotia guard up. So now Alberta facing 1, Nova Scotia sitting 1 here in the 6th end, down 4-1. Nova Scotia does have hammer, so looking to bury a second one in here. If you could ever get this dead buried, just biting the 4-foot,
Oh,
Alberta's going to be facing a couple.
yeah, they'd be in great shape if they could get this top 8, full 8 buried. Line's pretty good. They're really going hard. They must think it needs it for weight.
I think we got a pretty good one here, Keith.
Yes, very good shot.
So Nova Scotia now sitting 2, both about dead buried. Alberta can only see about maybe a quarter of that rock.
Not much. And they haven't got anything really to run in there either because that's a Nova Scotia guard. Must be
So Mulberg's indicating that he wants to run back the blue Nova Scotia stone. The only problem with running a Nova Scotia stone in here isn't if you hit it just a little bit off, you could leave your own guard up there and stick both these blues in behind.
And then they'll be swooping another one in.
Yep.
Yes, it's
Not an easy situation for Alberta here.
no, they're in a little bit of trouble here.
Couple good shots by McIntosh there, kind of set this end up good for Nova Scotia.
2 really nice draws. We're right up the center line.
So it's not, if it's up the center line, not quite going to get to where we need to get. However, it does a pretty good job of, ooh, good save there.
Yeah.
Moved it a little bit. This is where it helps to have those game observers.
Yeah. It was just biting that one, so. Oh. They're electing to throw the guard. Timeout here for Nova Scotia. They originally called for the guard.
Coach, maybe not like that because you're guarding with hammer.
Yeah, you'd like to be able to think you could get a third shot in there. However, that is kind of a half rock double, but you're going to lose the shooter on the 2 blue stones at the edge of the 4.
So where do you think the best spot to put this one is, Keith?
Yeah.
Maybe right on the center line, just biting the 4-foot and make him play that kind of axe double. It's a tougher double, but I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe just biting the top 8-foot a little farther over. Kind of biting the edge of the center line.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess you'd rather have them running a blue one in.
The only other option, too, is you could hit this yellow one at the top and roll to the spot that you were trying to cover, and if you happen to make a double, you might actually sit 4 out of this.
That's correct. That's probably the shot to play.
You play
I like that call.
like a control weight hit and roll, so you're basically calling the guard that you just did, but you're making the hit and roll out of it.
Yeah.
And plus, if you get lucky and make that double, you could sit 4.
Yeah. If you nosed it and they did make the double and roll out, you still might have some play on this one at the back of the 8-foot, tap 4 and still get 3, as long as you're stuck.
And I think that is what they're going to go with here, Keith.
They finally got some ice too.
Giving a little bit more ice here, so that.
I like both calls there. Yeah, they've been tight icing everything, and hopefully he's playing down weight.
So Nova Scotia's coach, Brian McIntosh. He's the dad of the 3rd. Kieran McIntosh comes out and tells the boys, this is what we're doing. He's close here, too.
Yeah, they kind of jumped it, and they didn't need to.
He does. Like you said, if he would have hit a little bit thicker of that stone, he might have actually made the double.
Yeah, he didn't have to hit much of that back yellow one to get rid of it. He was close to making it.
So the Alberta ladies just beside us believe their game just ended. They are shaking hands. The Alberta ladies with a big score of 4 or 5 here in the 6th end.
Yeah, at least 4, which would have put them up 7-2 after 6 ends.
So that game will be over. That's a big win for the Alberta ladies.
Yes, that improves their record to 6-1.
That'll drop Nova Scotia down to will drop Nova Scotia down to 5-3. So a big win there for Alberta.
Yeah, that one more game and that one more win, and will probably guarantee. Well, it won't guarantee him the 1-2 game, but it'll definitely guarantee him a playoff spot. And they're playing it quiet.
So he plays it quiet. Nathan Mulberg with his last stone. Kind of a mature call. Sometimes you see teams kind of blast everything out of there, but if you happen to jam somehow on your other yellow one, all of a sudden Alberta's facing the possibility of giving up maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. So a good call there by Mulberg.
Very good call, yeah. A lot of, like you said, a lot of teams just gone up there and blasted. Lose your shooter, maybe make the double, but you're not going to get your deuce. You're going to have to make a good shot to get 1. This way, he has a draw for 2. It's not easy.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this turn either. Now you have to wait for it to get by the guard, and then you have to sweep it and hope you have good weight and avoid the yellow at the top.
That doesn't curl too much. You have to run into the one at the top of the 4-foot. He'll have to be precise, that's for sure.
The other option you could have is you could throw the out turn here. Could throw the out turn and come across the face. You still have to wait for it to come off the yellow, but you still a little bit more room to work with, I think.
Yeah, you got the whole 4-foot.
So, nonetheless, here we go. Ethan Young kind of draw. He's got to basically hit the button here. Any piece of the button will get a second point.
It's got to start moving. He's on that yellow guard right now. His weight looks pretty good. It's got a curl. There it goes. Now he's by it.
He's going to make us look silly here if he makes this perfect.
I think he has. Whoa, rock.
Oh, good try.
6 inches too far.
Good try there by Skip Ethan Young. The rock just slides too far. He didn't have much room to work with there. Had to basically be on the button for a second point. So Alberta will force Nova Scotia to a single. They now lead by a score of 4-2 after 6 ends of play. Alberta in control as long as they kind of score this end or keep it clean. Alberta leading 4-2.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be in. 2 up, playing 7 with the hammer.
Absolutely. So to finish that update on the girls' game beside us, Alberta did end up scoring 5 that end. So they won that game against Nova Scotia by a score of 8-2. A very good, strong showing. We watched quite a bit of that game just beside us here, and Julia Bakos and her team played quite strong all the way through. They extend their record now to 6-1. Going across the way, Keith, can you see over there in Northwest Territories in New Brunswick?
Yes, it looks like New Brunswick. This is the men's game. They were up 6-4, playing 7. Territories have the hammer. In the ladies' game, New Brunswick is up 5-3, and New Brunswick has the hammer. BC and Saskatchewan. BC is up 5-3, and Saskatchewan has the hammer. In the ladies, Saskatchewan is up 4-3, and they have the hammer going into 7. Manitoba, Ontario. Ontario's opened up a 5-2 lead, playing 7. They haven't marked the 6th end.
No. Ontario did score, I think, in that end, though, because they're throwing first again here in the 6th.
They are throwing first, yeah. So they either stole or maybe there was a blank. Sheet 7, the ladies, Manitoba just stole 3, and they are up 5-1 on Ontario. In Quebec PEI men's game, it's tied 4-4, playing 7, and Quebec has the hammer. Sheet 9, the ladies, Quebec is up 5-3, and PEI has the hammer, playing 7.
Perfect. And back in our feature game, like we said, it's Alberta leading 4-2 after 6 ends of play. We've been talking Aiden Cavanaugh and his draw weight up so much this whole game, and unfortunately with his first one, threw it right in the top of the 4-foot. So Mulberg walked up as quick as can be, and he walked up and he picked that rock out of there. I don't think they had any intention of staying on the 4-foot.
Yeah.
So Balassi did exactly what he wanted, hit and rolled out. Kavanaugh's replaced his guard here, so now he's actually thrown a guard. Sorry, not replaced. Now he's made the guard, and he's right where you want to be, and Balassi's going to attempt the tick. So this is actually the first tick I've called as a commentator so far this week.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of them. Even with, tied up coming home, they haven't really been trying it. They've been just trying to beat him in and go around.
So Balassi on his attempt at the tick. So the tick shot is when you try and get rid of the guard, but you still try and keep it in play. So it's a really tough shot for the lead. Balassi's done a good job here. He's got to try and put it right in that corner. Ethan Young, and he's done just that.
Perfect.
Not only has he moved it to the corner, I think he's actually moved it out of the ring. So that is a fantastic shot there by Morgan Balassi. Leads don't get much credit, but right now I think he's going to get some fist bumps from his team. That is a fantastic shot there by the lead. Gets the guard off the center line, pushes it to the corner.
Yeah, no better than that.
The Weagle.
The Weagle.
Call it the Lisa Weagle. Or the Scott McDonald. I heard he was doing that. That's how he won Ontario, too. John Epping just couldn't get used to it.
There's a lot of teams that are really good at that shot now.
So a good showing of it right there by lead Morgan Balassi. Churchill replaces the center guard. Now we're going to see that peel game. Workman going to try and peel this center guard and roll right out of there. Don't keep anything in play.
Yeah, they'll just be real content just to hit and roll out on everything. You might see later in the end Nova Scotia go around that corner.
Perfect there by Workman.
To maybe force.
Yep, especially if that blue one happened to be in the rings.
Yeah, being 2 down, he's going to have to maybe take a little bit of a risk here in 7. If he holds Alberta to 1, he's going to be 3 down coming home, and that's not an easy task to score 3. Another center guard.
Yep, so this is where we see the center guard peel repeat. Center guard peel repeat for a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be some repetition.
As long as the shots are made, I guess.
Yeah. That's when they're going to, he's over. They're kind of a little lackadaisical on that one. He didn't get it over by much.
Only a couple feet.
Mr. Morberg up there already on the peel. Both teams are good for time. There will be no problem with the time for either one of these teams. Looks like Mr. Workman has got the job done.
Absolutely. Now you just have to catch this one along the side. Oh, he's pushed it right back into it. I think if he would have let it bounce off the boards, it was avoiding it, and he pushed it right back into it.
Yeah, smacked her dead on. Nose hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Us skips are sometimes awkward back there.
Well, it's kind of dangerous sometimes. Those things are coming through there at 90 mile an hour, and if you ever don't catch it right with your foot, it'll put you on your butt in a hurry.
Exactly.
A lot of times it's safer just to let them go. Another center guard. This one's got a little more oomph on it. It's probably going to be halfway.
Got some crazy fans out there for Alberta doing some good cheering.
The Blue Men.
Wonder if our camera girl can get a view of that. Those guys are awesome.
Mr. Helston.
A little bit tighter here, but he is going to get the peel.
Yeah.
Rolls right over there.
Pretty accurate with their peels. Well, they're going to throw another center. Thought they might try to go in behind.
So the center guard again here by McIntosh. You got to think this has got to be one of their last ones. You got to start putting the pressure on, especially down 2.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the third last rock, so I'm thinking you might see Ethan Young go in behind here on his next one. This peel might be a little tougher. It might run into the other yellow one.
Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit more cautious on this one. This is where you might see them switch turns sometimes, but
Yeah.
you're going to move everything a little bit closer to the center line.
And that's what he does. He jams on it. I thought maybe been a good plan for Nova Scotia to put that rock there a little earlier. Try and get that one over a rock or two more all the time.
Got to be a little bit creative when you're seeing the other team just peel, 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 and making everything.
He's throwing the center.
Interesting.
Yes. If you're Moberg and he doesn't make a real good center guard, do you ever go behind it?
Just based on scoreboard, I don't, but just because if you ever slipped back of the forefoot and all of a sudden you're giving up that steal that Young is looking for.
Yes.
So Young going to try and replace the center guard here. If you could replace the center kind of halfway, it's kind of what they're looking for.
Yeah, kind of the same spot the last one was. This one's curling a little more. As long as they get it straight across so there isn't a double peel there. Oh.
Look at this, Keith. He's considering exactly what you said.
What do we know?
I personally don't like it still. Just
I'm kind of on your page. I mean, if it goes behind the corner, if Nova Scotia would have went behind the corner a little earlier, it's a little different. You still have the 4 foot open for your last shot to get your one. You don't. You put this in the wrong spot, and you're going to have to make a good shot to get your one.
But I guess if that's what the skip wants and that's what he's ready to throw, make it.
Yeah. No, he throws it top 4 buried. He's got a really good chance of getting 2 and probably winning the game right here.
I guess if you're a team meeting and you said beforehand our goal is to blank or get 2 and you think this is an opportunity to get 2, you might as well go for it.
Yeah. Imagine they've curled a lot of games together in the last couple of years, so they know what they like to do in certain situations. Got confidence in their skipper to make a good one here. Line's good. Third's out to help, so maybe they need a little help in the getting her in there.
Either that or he just doesn't think Balassi's very strong. Because he kicked him out pretty early there.
He did.
Helston obviously thinks he's tougher than Balassi. We'll have to ask the boys about that after.
Here's another interesting call. Obviously, if you hit that, you're basically saying take one, Alberta, or blanket. They're going to try and force the issue and go around top 4 buried. Maybe try and get that steal if they need.
It's kind of, you take your chance now or you take your chance in the 8th to try and steal 2. So I guess if you don't think you can steal 2 against a team that made a lot of peels like this, you got to try and go for the steal now. So
yeah, that's right. Comes a point where you're not happy losing by 1, so you might as well lose by 100.
Yeah.
You might as well gamble, right?
Yeah. And you ever make a real good one here, all of a sudden you get maybe even a force out of it, and you're
at worst a force. Yeah. It's got good line.
Got a real good line. 1407, so that is a little heavier than we've seen.
Should be kind of back 4.
It'll do the trick for the force at least.
Yeah, not a great chance to steal, but definitely the force. Just a little heavy, had really good line.
So this is where kind of I question Molberg's first shot in this end. If you're happy with getting, like, see now he kind of played this tap right away, but now you're forced to 1 and you're giving the hammer back to Nova Scotia. It's the 5 rock rule. There's a chance to get multiple points this year. Multiple points.
Yeah.
So I especially how well I've seen these guys peel. You walk up there, you peel the center guard. Yeah, maybe Nova Scotia buries one around there, but it's a much tougher shot. So
he's taking the same turn, playing the tap. He could just follow Ethan down with the out turn draw, electing to play the tap.
Tap maybe just because he saw the same shot in the 5th. Basically the same tap that he made in the 5th end.
It's exactly the same tap, same spot.
He's got to move this one a couple more feet. He's got to move this one about 2.5 feet into the 8 foot. It's got to be full 8 foot when he's done.
It's got a good line.
And he's done just that. So it is a single point for Alberta. They'll take a 5-2 lead into the 8th end. However, Nova Scotia will have hammer. So Nova Scotia kind of maybe not too disappointed with that result, but they need to utilize the 5-rock rule here, try and get it end going, and try and get that 3 spot to tie things up.
Yeah, that was probably the second best scenario for Nova Scotia. If they couldn't steal, hold them to 1 was the second best. One thing they didn't want to do was give up a blank.
Yep. Blank or a deuce. So
yeah.
A lot of our other games coming into the 8th end here, so we'll give you guys an update here after ours. Both teams, lots of time left here. The Alberta boys with over close to 6 minutes, and Nova Scotia actually with 9 minutes left on their time clock, so time is not going to be an issue.
Yeah, lots of time.
So this first rock of this end by Balassi, oftentimes you actually see teams 3 up throw this rock through, so I'm not sure exactly what Mulberg will call.
Yeah, he's calling it through.
So not wanting to take any chances. Balassi, leads always love these ones. No pressure, throw it through. Now Young's got to orchestrate a 3 spot here. What do you think the best strategy to get 3 here is? A couple corner guards on the same side you see sometimes the pros use.
Yeah, people are so good at peeling now. You're seeing that quite often. Use the double corner on the one side versus the 2 opposite.
Mm-hmm. Makes the double peel a little bit harder, especially when they're lined up. Kind of the same thing you see when a team's trying to steal. They throw the 2 center guards lined up.
And that's right. Big thing is to line them up, because if you leave them off kilter a little bit, then that's when they can make the double peels.
Exactly. Kavanaugh right back to where he was before. Perfect draw weight there. Perfect guard weight, sorry.
Yeah. We're going to play the tick. It's interesting. We haven't seen the tick all week, and now they're trying to tick the corner.
Yeah.
It's a good call. I actually don't mind it at all, even if you just pound it into the back 12.
Yeah. Roll your shooter into the boards.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing. Get rid of your shooter. You don't need
a corner guard here.
Another guard.
Worst thing would be to push this into the rings and keep a corner guard up.
Knows it, yeah. Looks like he's pretty good. Get that shooter off.
Look at this shot by Balassi.
Great shot.
It's almost.
And he got rid of the shooter. Good shot.
That's almost like the mixed doubles pick or tick that they play.
When they're using
the power play, yeah.
That's right.
You've seen John Morris and Caitlin Laws use that at the Olympics. Kind of put the rock, tick the rock into the rings and roll off, hit the boards. Now all of a sudden there's nothing in play. It's actually more of a benefit in regular curling here because now that rock can be hit. In mixed doubles, that rock in the house couldn't be hit yet.
Right.
But now that they've moved it, Balassi, a great shot there. Got to give that kid credit. 2 ends in a row, 2 great ticks.
Yeah, a couple really big shots. They're going to throw the corner, just try to guard it.
Now Mulberg.
Is he going to try to tick again the other way? Depends how much of that he can see. I think if he can see a little, mind you, he's got to be careful throwing quite away because he racks hard and takes that off. It's going right back again.
Exactly. So they're going to try and get this one behind it. Play kind of board weight, I think they called. Board weight, get by tight. If they happen to rack, that's okay because if you can do the tick, they're not too disappointed. The worst thing, I guess, would be to rack it really hard.
Yeah, and take it out of play. Then it will go back, and he's real tight to that guard.
Look at these boys working on this, though. He does tick, and it will run into the boards. So if you guys don't know the rule here, Young is allowed to place this where he thought it was. It's his stone, I guess, was the infracted. So he's allowed to put it the best spot he thinks possible, and you see him doing that now.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how much they could see and put it back as close as they can to the exact same spot. Now, is he going to throw a double guard on this, or is he going to split? Go in behind. Sometimes on those that guys at the other end can tell the better line because they've looked at the shot before and they know how much they could see.
Exactly, yeah.
Standing over it like this,
You
don't know.
have no idea. One skip wants it one way, one skip wants it the other way.
Yeah,
I want to see a little bit more. You want to see a little bit less.
Go there, kick it back and forth.
Yeah.
Splitting the house.
Young.
Which might be a little early to be doing that when you need 3.
I think he actually called the corner guard.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Which is a good call.
Just sliding a little bit on them.
Whoa.
That'll work.
That's good.
Mulberg's going to utilize that angle now, try and play a double.
Yeah, maybe a little tight for a good corner. If it was up another 4 or 5 feet, this would be a lot steeper.
So he's taking on the double here. When you see some teams, they might just peel that guard that's in front of the rock in the house. If you peel that one and roll out of the way, you expose the rock that's currently in the house. However, Mulberg likes the angle because it came a little bit deeper here, so he's going to take on this double.
Yeah, that's what Nova Scotia was hoping for, is get a good corner there. Alberta would go peel the other corner, and then they
go behind it.
Go behind, and if they want to hit the open run, they could go in behind again.
Yeah.
Possibly setting up possible 3-ender.
So Workman makes the peel, and he rolls over to the side of the 12-foot. Might be an important rock later just based on stone position and different things.
It may, yeah. Might be a kicker. The boys are working hard on this one.
Got to get going. Churchill's put his hand on his chin, pleading for this one to get over. Boys can't give up on this because it might kill you. Oh, I think Churchill knew it out of his hand there.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So it comes up late. Mulberg once again sprints up there, peels this corner guard. And if Helston makes this, there's not going to be much to hide behind.
Again, another case. Chris Churchill was he thought probably a little bit heavy on.
Good save, Workman.
A little heavy on his first one, so he tried to cut back and just cut back too much. Yeah, that was a good save.
The Alberta fans loving it too.
I don't think there was room for a rock to get through between there and the boards. Now he's got to throw the corner, I believe, and hope for a mistake.
Hope for some misses.
Hope they could jam it on the other yellow one in the house, maybe, if he got really lucky.
You might see Alberta run up and just hit that one open in the house, or you might see them peel. How many rocks we got to have left? No, they'll still probably peel the guard, I think.
Yeah, this is the third's first. Nova Scotia's. Kieran McIntosh's first rock. He's just splitting the house. I thought he might throw a corner. Some racket somewhere in the building.
Yeah, I think Quebec just came home with the victory there. Men's team, young team from Quebec that we did earlier, come home with the victory, beating Prince Edward Island 5-4. The skip made a great pick there to win that game. So as I thought they might, they just going to hit this open rock.
Yeah.
Eliminate it.
They only have 3 left, so.
Oh, cheeky.
Yeah.
I think he knows it too.
Made it off his own.
Elston knows that was a little bit cheeky. Throws it wide and still makes it. He actually rolls closer to the center too, so he shrinks the scoring zone. Almost one of those best case scenarios that I didn't mean to do.
No kidding. That'd be hard to draw that up. hit those 2 over there and think you're going to roll to the top 4. And they're coming. I believe they're trying to come in behind the guard.
Yeah, they're going to try and bury 3 rocks around here now. Nova Scotia kind of down to their last kind of life.
Yeah.
You got to hide 3 stones and hope out for them. Alberta misses. This one's finishing quite hard. Kavanaugh doing a good job to get it curl late. It did curl enough that it kind of got about half buried.
Yeah, half, maybe 2/3 even.
I would like to see Mulberg just go up and rip that guard. How do you hide a couple of other rocks? So don't get too cute with this. If you ever just feather the guard.
Yes. Maybe he's going to play the cheeky shot that Helston did.
Helston did. Yeah, I guess there is two ways to make it. Because if you were a little bit wide, you can make it off your own just like Helston did. However, you would hate to be a little bit tight, feather the guard. And
I'm with you. I wouldn't even look at those two. I'd be up trying to run the corner or center, whatever, the guard.
Mulberg looking for the win here, though. If he does take it out, it will be a victory for Alberta.
Yeah. In turn hit. He's probably throwing good.
Good weight here.
Up weight, PO weight, maybe.
He's definitely not inside. I think he knew his miss was a little bit wide.
Yeah, I think he set it back just a little.
I think we're going to get back-to-back Ben Helston shots here. There it is. He knew he could make it off his own, and that he did.
Yes.
Great shot there by Nathan Mulberg, and Alberta will come home with the victory. The score will end 5-2 here. A win by Alberta. Keith, you got some updated standings for us?
That'll move them to 6-1. Nova Scotia will fall to 3-5.
So that win by Alberta is big to kind of keep their hopes alive for that first or second place bye to the semifinal. Also important in a competition like this.
And then over on sheet 6, it looks like the Ontario men defeated Manitoba.
Yeah, we also have BC men leading Saskatchewan men 6-3, playing in the 8th end. Quebec men, we said, beat PEI to win their game 5-4. On the far side of things, we have New Brunswick men leading Northwest Territories men 6-4, playing the 8th end. On the women's side of things, New Brunswick ladies are leading Northwest Territories ladies 6-3, playing in the 8th end. Saskatchewan, I believe that game is something's happening.
BC is up.
Saskatchewan is up 1, and they're kind of all looking at each other right now. I don't know what just happened.
6-3.
It was 4-3. They were only up 1, and then they started kicking rocks down, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
And Manitoba ladies are leading Ontario ladies in a fantastic game. They're coming down to the last shots here. Manitoba leading 5-3. And the last game that we're going to talk about is on Quebec ladies are leading PEI 6-3 here in the last end. So in our game, we have a victory, 2 victories by Alberta in the 2 feature games tonight. The Alberta men coming home with a 5-2 victory, now pushing the record to 6-1, and the Alberta ladies winning their game 8-2. And they also push the record to 6-1. So good showings by the Alberta men and women. Thank you so much, Keith, for being in the booth with me again today.
Thank you, Joel. I enjoyed it.
And on behalf of the Calendar Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta 2019, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.